just one thing on my mind. 3, 2, 1. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to episode 251 of the Shower Podcast, the podcast where I'm in my shower and you do you. I'm your host, Chip, and today I want to talk about something that's been on my mind all weekend and also today. Hyperfixation. That moment when you can't stop thinking about something, can't stop doing it, it just becomes the center of your day. And I don't mean it in a bad way. Sometimes it's exactly what makes life feel alive. Before we start, as usual, if you end up liking this episode, remember that liking and subscribing really mean a lot for me. They're just one click, but they really make the difference. Thank you very much for considering it. So, for me, right now, and it's a surprise to nobody, that's Hollow Knight Silksong. As you might have heard from the previous episodes, I've been waiting for it for years. And now that it's out, I've been all in. Playing it, thinking about it, looking forward to every spare moment I got just to play a few more minutes. And the funny part is, I don't feel guilty about it. I could treat it like just another game, but I don't want to. I want to remember this time as a phase where I let myself dive in completely. So, what do I mean by hyperfixation? It's when something grabs you so strongly that everything else fades for a while. You think about it when you wake up, it follows you through the day, and you look forward to it when you're free. It's not just liking something, it's living with it in your head all the time. That's why I think these moments are rare. They don't happen with everything. And that rarity is the beauty of it. Most days, if you're not a special person, are average. You work, study, eat, sleep. That's kind of it. But every once in a while, something takes over. And it's worth leaning into it. Because those phases, the ones where you let yourself go all in, are the ones you look back on years later. They're the ones that stick. And that's why with Silksong, I'm not trying to hold back. I'm not telling myself, don't overdo it, balance it out. No, I want to embrace this hyperfixation because it feels right. I know it won't last forever, but that's exactly why I want to give it space. It's rare, it's intense, and it deserves the moment. Of course, hyperfixation can go wrong. If you let anything that crosses your path take over, then nothing really has value. And if you give that much energy to something you don't truly care about, you risk looking back and realizing it didn't leave you with anything. That's the difference between a memory you treasure and a time you just lost. People sometimes compare this to flow, the state where you're so into what you're doing that time disappears. Hyperfixation feels similar, but more intense, almost obsessive. And while it can be overwhelming, it also shows you what you really care about, if you're honest with yourself. So when it happens, don't dismiss it as wasted time. If it's the right thing, if it's something that matters to you, it can actually show you strength, purpose, even joy. The trick is knowing when to let in and when to step back. And that's exactly what we will explore in the next section. If you look at the topic on a superficial way, hyperfixation is often talked about in the context of ADHD. Researchers describe it as intense focus on a specific interest for a long period of time. But it's not just an ADHD thing. Studies on attention show that anyone can fall into it when an activity sparks enough emotional reward. Basically, your brain says, this matters. It gives you the fuel to stay locked in. Neuroscientists point out that dopamine, the same chemical tied to motivation, spikes during these phases. It's why hours can pass and you don't feel drained. You're not forcing focus. Your brain is giving it to you for free. And that's why hyperfixation feels so different than normal effort. It's not discipline, it's reward-driven. But here's the problem. Dopamine also tricks us. Just because your brain rewards you doesn't mean the thing itself deserves your obsession. That's where people get stuck in hyperfixations that don't serve them, like scrolling endlessly or obsessing over something shallow. Research on compulsive behaviors warns that if the fixation loop is left unchecked, it can crowd out healthier priorities. And that's why I go back to the idea of rarity. Hyperfixation shouldn't be your default setting. If every week you're latching into a new obsession, then none of them really mean much. The real value is in being selective, letting it happen when the thing in front of you truly deserves it. That's when it becomes a chapter of your life, not just a distraction. For me, that's why I chose to let Silksong to be that obsession right now. Not every game gets that spot. Not every activity earns that much attention. But this one does. And I know in a few months, when the phase is over, I remember not just the game, but the way I let myself go all in for it. And that's what I challenge you to think about. What deserves that level of focus in your life? What is worth being obsessed about? Because hyperfixation isn't just intensity, it's memory making. It's how certain seasons of your life stand out, but only if you give it to the right things. So be careful. If your hyperfixations are only random trends or the next shiny thing, you might find yourself empty when it's over. And that's not growth. That's burnout disguised as passion. The power of hyperfixation is in how you choose it, not just that it happens. That was all for today. Thank you very much for listening, everybody. What can I say? I know that I've talked a lot recently about obsessions, but I really believe they are a very, very, very powerful fuel for us, and we should use it as much as we can. If you ended up making it so far and you liked this episode, remember that liking, subscribing, or interacting with the content in any way, shape, or form is always welcome. And as usual, stay consistent, stay resilient. This was the Shower Podcast, and I'll see you tomorrow.